Yeah, do it. No, we need to do it.
And coming to you live from an old woman's house on a hill with a cat that's a serial killer. And, it's pumpkin spice season, so brought to you by Little Debbie's Pumpkin Everything. They've got pies, they've got donuts, they've got... what else do you have? Delights.
Spice rolls.
Kenny, speaking of rolls, there's Kenny's new shirt. All right. Kenny, you ready?
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Sports Allegedly after a way, way too long intro. We're coming to you live.
Shorter than your stats.
We're coming to you live on the Saturday, the 26th of the month.
You got that.
We've got week 0 kicking off today. We're going to talk about, as we get into this, we're going to do our final college football picks. That's going to be the Big 12. We're going to talk about that and how we think they're going to finish up. Also, we're going to do our over-unders. We picked 5 teams, either NFL or college. We're going to do over-unders just as a contest between us. We'll talk a little bit about our final NFL picks before that starts next week, because it'll start Thursday. And then also we'll also announce our final 4 predictions for the college football playoff. We'll also get to a little bit of outdoor minute. And Zach, he'll have his stat question, and then not stat question, his trivia question, his alleged trivia question. So anyway, let's start with big news right now.
No, hold on. What? We need a quick reminder of the finishing places of the picks for last season.
Oh, did you bring those up?
How did those picks finish, Preston? Do you remember?
Oh God, I gotta find the paperwork.
You don't need the numbers. We just need to know positioning.
Positioning was me, you, Kenny.
Ah, there we go.
And it wasn't close.
It was not. I could have tanked and still got second.
So what we're doing this year is we're going to pick 9 games. Now, did we do that with the group, or did we just do some amongst ourselves?
We can do it with the group. We can make it the group.
Okay, because we did a group pick with a lot of other people, and then we did picks with us. So what we'll do, we're going to do 9 games. We're going to do 10 games this year. We're going to require everybody to pick OU, OSU, and Tulsa, and then we'll do our 3 at-large or 3 NFL or 3 college, and you just pick one random.
I suggested forcing you to pick your own team.
We could do that. Pick our own team.
Pick your own
week.
NFL team.
Okay, we can do that.
What is the over/under?
Except for the bye.
Oh, the spread.
Except for the bye, you get to pick whatever. How about that?
Well, and same with the colleges.
Yeah, bye week you get to pick whatever.
Okay, I'm good with that. So we'll wanted to announce. Obviously, while we're here on the 26th, it was a big day for Oklahoma recruiting.
Huge.
Just
Huge
announced
day.
David Stone, defensive lineman, who we have been in on from the beginning, and there was some concern that he was going to go elsewhere, and all of a sudden now David's from Oklahoma, went to IMG Academy in Florida, and so he's the 10th by rivals. He's 10th best, and 13th on 3. But anyway, defensive lineman. He was our number 1 target, according to many sources and many bystanders we've talked to. But he's the number 2 defensive lineman in the class. In the 2024 class, obviously we lost Nawari, he was the number 1. We haven't lost him yet. He's currently committed to Missouri. I think we're still in the running for that, even though he's committed. So, anyway, great news for Oklahoma. It's Venables and staff continue as you watch, and we keep up with a lot of recruiting. We don't talk about it a whole lot because some people are really into it and some people are not. We're not as sharp as some of the insiders, so we don't really.
We're the sharpest.
Don't really get into it.
We are the cream that rises to the top, Hogan.
But if you watch and you pay attention enough, that Oklahoma is definitely building the depth for that defense. They're continuing to rock offensive, but we got the Bass kid from Oklahoma who's Christian McCaffrey. Who was the kid from Millwood? Not Millwood. He's Heritage Hall for the Patriots. Little guy from Oklahoma that was such a great. I'm drawing a blank.
Stevenson?
No, he was a guy in the shoot. I was probably the early two.
Wes Welker?
Wes Welker, that type. A slot guy, going to be fast. He plays, plays quarterback, that type of stuff. So that was a great pickup. And then we got Eli Bowen, brother Peyton Bowen, also this week from Texas. He commits to Oklahoma like his brother, and so a great pickup. They've got him listed as a 3-star. Same with Bass, but those kids, I mean, the upside of each one of those are great. So we continue to build as we move into the SEC after this season. So as we're talking about Big 12, let's talk a little bit about the Big 12 predictions right now. So everybody and their dog, obviously, and it seems like it's every year, and they hadn't done it in decades. It seems like is on to Texas for winning the Big 12 championship. And I was going to look up how long it's been since they've won it. Actually.
16
probably
or 17.
Mac Brown era.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and so that's been the last time. OU obviously has continued to win most of those. Kansas State was littered in there. They've won those, and I think
Baylor.
OSU won one. Baylor won one.
TCU.
TCU, yes. So anyway, everybody's got Texas. We're not going to go all the way down through our picks as far as all 14, but. Yeah, Creston, give me some highlights of your picks. Give me an idea who's your top 3 and why, and could that be interchangeable? And then where do you got, if OSU or Oklahoma isn't in your top 3, let us know where you've got them too. So go ahead.
I got Texas 1, OU 2, Kansas State 3, and I got OSU at 6. So Texas, OU, I think Texas has got more talent, more depth than we have right now. I think they're number 1, hands down. I mean, it's a rivalry game. Could OU beat Texas? Yes, they could. Kansas State, I like them, but I think OU's better
Pull up
than
their schedule, Sean, K-State.
I think OU's better than K-State. I just do. I think we're more talented. We have been for years.
Even though K-State's Big 12 championship champions last year.
I still think
they've got an easier schedule, don't they? K-State?
No. K-State's schedule is hard. I think we're.
That's why I didn't pick them before I get to mine in the top 2. Also, I had them repeating and going back to the championship game, but until I started to really dig into their schedule
and their schedule, their strength of scheduling is tough.
It's quite a bit tougher. Texas has a much easier schedule. OU has the easiest schedule. Now, allegedly, OSU has the easiest schedule in the Big 12 is what they've said, and they've got one too. But OU has definitely got a much easier schedule. So you had OSU at 6th. Who'd you have last? Just for
last, I have West Virginia.
Give me
Cincinnati, West Virginia is
Cincinnati, West Virginia is your last 2 picks.
Yeah.
Okay.
K-State's got a cake schedule.
Do they?
Besides from having to play TCU in Texas, yeah.
Well, they're at Texas,
Yeah.
and Kansas isn't no fluff. I've got Kansas picked higher. They go to Tech, who a lot of people, and Stillwater's never an easy place to play.
I think Tech's going to be pretty good this year.
And their non-conference, Missouri is not going to be easy. I mean, I think they're going to win, but they still got to go to Missouri. Of course, that's out of schedule. But anyway, I had them losing 3 games in the Big 12. I had them losing potentially to Tech, or OSU was 1 or 2. They're definitely. I think they'll lose to Texas this year, and then they're either going to lose to Kansas, Baylor, or TCU. I know that sounds like a lot, but I mean, I'm giving them the odds to win the majority of those. But all those are tough games. You flip over to, let's say, we'll pull up OU schedule here shortly. Sean, what was your picks as far as?
I hate doing this. I did take Kansas State to repeat.
Okay.
With Texas, then Oklahoma, and I might. I had TCU at 4th. Now I might have. The rest of it was just hard.
Kind of mix and match.
Yeah.
Where'd you have OSU?
I had OSU at 4, 5. I had them at 7th.
Man, no love for the Popes.
It's the rebuild. I don't know what players he's got in.
I know it's been tough.
There's nothing really out there that he's really brought in.
Well, and
everything that he's lost.
So you like K-State because, I mean, I like them too because the returning starters.
I didn't want to put Texas at number 2.
But I don't play. But
I hope it doesn't end that way.
But OU doesn't play Kansas this year, so that was a bonus for us since they've kind of seems like they've owned us on and off.
Had our number under Lincoln Riley
Yeah.
with that spread defense or offense.
Did Kansas State beat TCU?
Yeah, they won the championship last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I completely missed that. How did TCU get in?
They only had one loss.
I guess everyone else just had one
Their
loss.
one loss was in the championship game.
Yeah, so they got the advantage, and they earned it. They beat Michigan. So
And Kansas State had 2 losses. 2 or 3
do what now?
last season. They had 2 or 3 losses. That's why they didn't get in.
They had 2 losses, didn't they? Kansas State last year had 2.
Oh yeah.
They had Tulane
Yeah,
loss.
yeah.
And I forgot 8 Texas.
I don't remember the other loss. But then you go back and look at Oklahoma's schedule. I mean, we go to Tulsa, we go to Cincinnati. Texas is obviously the difficult game. I think the other difficult game is you got at Kansas is not going to be a cakewalk, especially later in the year. And then
TCU, the last
Oklahoma
game.
State is never going to be easy. They're going to want to kill us.
Yeah, that's a rivalry
They're
game,
going to want to
yeah.
kill us, so that can be a loss at any time.
Yeah, they don't want to.
And then TCU to close out. That TCU's an interesting team because I had them pick 5th. I like Texas Tech a little better than
7-4.
TCU.
Well, TCU 4.
You have Tech 5th?
I had Tech way down.
No way.
Yeah.
I got Tech and TCU.
It
I
might
got
be.
4th
It might
or
be.
5th,
It
could
might
go
be
back.
a little crimson biased for us not winning that game last season when we should have won the game because the refs didn't call the field goal good, even though it went through the
Kind of looked
uprights.
like it, didn't it? Now, after Texas, we get the bye week,
And they wouldn't show the replay.
which is a perfect time for the bye week. It's about middle of the schedule. I think everything sets up real nice for OU this
See,
year.
I'm not that worried about Oklahoma State. I know it's a rivalry game; they could win. But the only 2 I'm seeing that we play is Texas and TCU are our toughest 2, in my opinion, the toughest 2 we have.
Sure. And that's to say TCU brought a lot in, but they did lose a lot too.
I understand that.
Their original starting quarterback, Chandler Morris, former OU quarterback, will be starting this year. He was supposed to start last year until he got hurt early. I think it was the first game that he got hurt last year. And then not Stetson Bennett, that's Georgia.
Maxwell
Duggan.
Duggan.
Duggan come in and has looked somewhat decent in the NFL. Of course, it's preseason, so we'll
Jim Duggan. Hacksaw Jim
Where'd
Duggan.
he go?
Chargers.
He
He's
was
at the
playing
Chargers.
last night.
Yeah, he'll probably be their back. I don't
I
know
think
who
he'll
their
be their
backup.
backup.
Kenny
is.
was getting upset.
He
with it
looks
because
good. Well, I mean, he looked.
He goes, "Oh, it's just Duggan, Kenny."
Kenny's down on a lot of
Bennet's-
quarterbacks
Bennett's the
that
other
we
one.
like.
Duggan and Bennett, they both went to teams that have.
Stetson Bennett went to
Rams.
But they have
Rams.
good quarterbacks ahead of them, but they don't look bad. Out of the
Well, and I would say that
I'm gonna
Bennett's
s-
in a good system. Duggan's in a shit system.
Bennet's in a better system.
I mean, he's
to
got Kellen
start.
Morris as offensive coordinator, quarterback guru. We've seen how that worked at Dallas. And then obviously you got to.
Oh, you praised him last
You
night.
got to coach. It was a joke. And you
I'm
have.
well aware.
And even though I did pick the Chargers number 2 in the AFC West, I still think they're going to make the playoffs. We'll talk about that a little bit later and how
we probably
when
won't
get,
because I'll forget.
when we get the NFL. In the
you
NFL.
think the Chargers make the playoffs?
I do not think they make the playoffs.
No, he'll get fired this year.
He's getting fired anyway. I think if they make the playoffs and don't win a game, he's getting fired.
Yeah.
After that debacle last year. He's
Yeah.
just not a good coach. It's just not a right fit.
Spelled
If
the
your
ball.
opposing quarterback throws 4
And then-
interceptions in like a span of 20 minutes and you
still lose.
you lose,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
And he's supposed to be a defensive type guru.
It's so funny about that is everyone's like, God, Trevor Lawrence, he just played lights out or whatever. It's like, dude, we forget that he
threw
those
4 picks in the
if he
first
would have
half.
if he would have lost that game,
Well, hey, and
everyone would have a different idea about him.
It's
or whatever,
interesting.
you
It's
know?
interesting you say that though, is because you look at you need to go back and look at the game or two before that going into the season. He didn't play real well leading into the playoffs, and they did win that one. I mean, he had a good early start to the year, but he kind of digressed a little
I'm
bit.
saying, yeah, with him getting Calvin Ridley and stuff, it's like I think they're really going to bounce back. They're going to be real good this year, and I don't know about that. That might be a pick I fucking change.
All right, so
Yeah.
as far as my
teams
picks,
can't beat them.
as far as my
Those-
picks,
I said those other 3 teams can't
beat them, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean they won.
It's exactly as far as my picks go. I've got I went debated back. I had Texas 1. I think Texas actually. I don't believe in Sarkisian. He hasn't ever won 10 games as a head coach. I think he hasn't had the talent though that he's got this year. They have recruited well, and you have to remember Texas is a year ahead of OU in the rebuild. We're going
I
into
understand, but
second year and
if-
third year coaching.
He's got Texas' schedule pulled up right now. You have Alabama, which is a non-conference, but more likely, I mean, I'm picking Alabama to win that one. You have Baylor, Kansas, Oklahoma, Kansas State, and TCU, and Tech.
got a
That
hard
they have to
schedule.
play.
Kansas
That's a
State,
pretty
Texas.
hard schedule.
Yeah, but look, the toughest road game they have, in my opinion, though, is TCU.
Yeah.
That's not even really a road game either.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I think they've got a favorable schedule. I
It's
mean,
a Texas and Oklahoma switch.
and Baylor, I don't know really what Baylor's going to do this
Yeah,
year. They're
you
kind
don't
of
know,
the,
but yeah.
because they won the
Texas
Big
is
12 championship 2 years ago. Didn't have a good year at all last year.
Didn't.
That's
Not.
right. That's right. I couldn't remember what
But
it was.
I'm just saying, in the past 8 years, Baylor has been in the top 3 or 4
Sure.
every.
They had a total collapse last season.
They
did.
did.
They did.
What was their final record? 7-5, 6-6.
Something, I don't
Yeah, I mean it
can't
wasn't
remember.
even close to them even getting back to repeat.
Them and Oklahoma State.
And Oklahoma State very
them and
easily
Oklahoma
could have won
State,
that game.
Didn't they play for the?
Yeah, the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And both teams, massive collapse the next season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Blake Sharpen was Baylor's quarterback. Shapen. Where did he go? I don't think he.
Wow, I forgot about that COVID year, 18,000 people, and we barely beat Iowa State.
That was Brock Purdy.
Oh, yes, Brock Purdy. What a win that was then. Woo!
That was Jalen versus Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Sean's on the Purdy train.
I'm still on the Purdy train.
Which one was Jalen?
Sean's got his engineer hat on.
The
He's
Iowa
up front,
State?
tooting the horn. Boop,
Yeah.
boop.
It's Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, see you right up there, Spencer Rattler.
Oh, was it Spencer?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Jalen. Okay,
and-
Jalen too. Jalen was Baylor.
And he was the MVP. Why was he the MVP?
Because he played really good that season, and then he collapsed.
Mims and
'Cause this
CD.
is where
Yeah.
And
Oh, that 21 was Caleb Williams' year. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
so.
Boy, Deuce Vaughn MVP last year. That guy
Where's he
is
at? He's
the
in-
Cowboys. I mean, what a pickup.
Is he?
What a
Yeah.
huge
He looks good,
huge
too.
pickup. And they got him late. And it just goes to show you that size, even in the NFL, when you're at a skilled position. I mean, Marvin Mims having a great year. I'm kind of getting off track talking about Big 12, but
Yeah,
Mims
I'm-
is looking
well,
good.
you-
So anyway, I
You,
so I
you
went back.
also, you
I
also
went
try
back-
to say this to your wife.
I went,
Size doesn't matter.
I went back and forth that OU, Texas, K-State. I had K-State all summer, stuck with it, started looking at their schedule. I'm getting more and more, and it's the OU fan in me. I'm getting more and more confident about OU.
See, we're discounting.
So who do you
Houston.
have? You have Texas 1,
Texas
OU
1,
2,
OU 2.
Kansas
Yeah.
State 3.
But my horror story about all this, and the worst thing that could happen is Texas beat us twice.
Brigham Young also bouncing in. And
I mean, that would just make
stealing
me sick.
some wins
It's
that they
almost
shouldn't.
just to maybe get third and not get beat by Texas again, because the sting would be there. But no, I'm kidding. It would, if us getting the Big 12 championship means we're going to be in that 9 to 11 win range, and that's where we need to be this year. Like I've told you before, if we beat Texas, right now I'm picking Texas to win. If we had to pick right now,
If we beat Texas, we're winning the Big 12.
and Dylan Gabriel will be, like I said in previous
Heisman winner.
In the previous.
will be a Heisman invite.
Yeah.
If we beat
If
Texas,
we beat Texas, I don't know if
and that means that we're playing that good, and he will be an Heisman invite. I didn't say winner, I said invite.
I thought something was wrong with the soft light.
Because I think I think there's going to be some people, if he has a good year, I mean, you got to realize that guy had pretty good stats last year. I know you guys shit on him a lot.
Who?
You did, Gabriel.
Who?
And
Oh.
No, Gabriel's stats ain't the problem.
No, hold on.
Gabriel's
but we
Decision.
finished
Supporting cast.
But
And
we finished 13th in the nation in offense with a defense that is horrific. That should give you some taste of knowing that guy played pretty well, and then the one game he doesn't play, we lose 49-0. I mean, he was the MVP last year, hands down.
Who are you talking
of the team?
about?
Dylan Gabriel.
No, I thought that was Eric Gray. Major Booty.
Eric Gray was Eric Gray.
Well, the one game
No,
he was out.
It was Danny Stutzman.
The one
That's
game,
the MVP.
the one
of
game we got, he didn't play. We lost 49-0. So
The
that tells you
nice-
enough.
I understand this. I'm just
And
saying.
I think our offense didn't even muster 200
my
yards.
problem with Gate. My
He
problem.
misses
with
big
Gate-
throws. I
He
understand.
does.
I
He
understand
chokes
that.
one wide open touchdowns.
But that was his first year with all those players. Let's see what he does this
will
year.
he be in the SEC?
No.
No, he's done.
Well, you know what? Potentially he
Comes
could
back.
come back. I really think he's got a COVID year. I'd have to really search
He
that.
does. He should, but I
I don't think he will. Or maybe it was this year he was his 5th year.
5th year. Yes.
Maybe that was it.
I think it's this year.
maybe
Don't you get a
it's it.
6th year?
I do. I think so. Either way,
You have
this
a
will be his
redshirt
last year.
And then you got 4 years.
And then a COVID year.
3 years. 3 years and then a COVID year.
But I don't remember how many years he played at UCF.
CF, yep.
I don't know. But anyway, so I've got Texas OU in a rematch. I've got them splitting. And more than likely, I'm going to have OU somehow beating them in the championship.
Okay.
Probably got my crimson glasses on
You do,
right
but
now.
that's okay. I love it.
But I think we'll lose the first one. Now, things
I
could
didn't want
change.
to be that guy to pick OU.
I know, but I wanted to pick Kansas State, but I didn't like their schedule. But I do like...
Oh, I'm talking about OU over Texas.
And, you know, I have one of my OU bystanders that I know is raving about the offensive line. I've kind of give Beatonbaugh a little shit about that, but... And they are. They look deep. They're actually projected to be one of the better O-lines in the nation because of their depth. My only concern is what happened next year. You asked me if next year was our year, Zach, going to the SEC. No, I think we're going to lose more games next year. Our schedule's brutal for next year going in the SEC.
They already have a schedule released?
Yes,
Yeah.
We have
yes.
to
Let's
make
play
that,
Georgia,
we have to do
yeah.
that
Yes.
Georgia Macon.
Oh, they already released the schedule?
Georgia, Alabama.
Well, we have to
LSU.
make. We have to make.
Yeah,
up
we
the
got-
Georgia-
Yeah, exactly. That's,
Who's the wins? That might be easier. Let's go.
I think
I
we
think
got
we got
Ole Miss,
Missouri and
Ole
Ole
Miss.
Miss. Yeah.
So they made OU cancel the Georgia game for this year because
Yeah, because we were supposed to
gonna
play
end up-
Georgia this year. Isn't it?
So they want like an unveil, like next year. I got you.
Well,
I
we're
guess.
going
Hey,
into it.
welcome to
We're
the
just
SEC.
Welcome to the SEC,
You're getting
bitch.
asked. Yeah.
Here's your
What's
6
Texas
and 6
schedule?
record. We haven't looked at that. We'll Sean, you can pull that up here in a minute as
Okay.
we talk about that a little bit. But no, but
Sure
I
thing,
think
boss.
the depth we're going to lose a lot of. I mean, potentially we could lose 4 to 5 offensive line after this year because of the age and how well they play. Some of them could bolt to the draft because there is some talk that some of these guys are going to be really good. That concerns me. Defensive line is getting better. We're not going to lose a lot. They're continuing to improve. The depth is getting better. So the defense is looking better. The
Better,
offensive
but the
line.
offense is-
Listen, in the SEC, and you know it, we've all talked about it. There's no rhyme or reason or whatever you want to talk about. Lincoln Riley's going to figure it out. Those Pac-12 teams are going to figure out when they get to the Big Ten. If you don't play good in the front lines, there's no sense in playing. That's it. You're never going to win anything. It's exactly why Iowa hangs around every year. And they're not they continue to be one of the worst offenses in the nation, and they're always
Score
there 8 or 9 wins, playing in the Big Ten championship.
7 to 12 points every game,
Looks
but
like
they
very
make it
similar
to the
to us,
championship
Georgia.
just because of their
Yeah.
defense. Yes.
Yeah. So I just but it's because they always recruit the big guys on the lines. So but I'm going to go ahead and stay with OU. I'm Texas 1, OU 2 when it comes down to it, and I think OU potentially we could lose twice to Texas, but don't throw out K-State. There's a lot of people that's got Tech. I looked at a lot of different picks about these people that are so-called professionals that do this for a living. Have got Texas Tech played. I remember when Joey Galloway, who sucks by the way, ESPN guy, could be Fox, who knows, he might have got fired, picked Baylor, and they won one game that year to win the Big 12. So do a little more research, figure out that I don't think Tech is quite there yet.
No, but I still think they're a top 5, 6
I do too.
program.
I just don't think they're right there. Sean, could you pull up? Yeah, now it's getting away from USC's up 21-7 now in San Jose State. Would you pull up Texas Tech's schedule? What'd you figure out on the?
I figured out on here
Okay.
going in. Of course, they've got A&M, Arkansas, and Oklahoma.
Okay,
I think
yes.
that's the pod.
Yeah. Okay.
But then it shows that they will scheduled to face against Georgia, Florida, Mississippi State, and Kentucky.
That's at home, and then
The
they'll
Horns
go
will
to
travel to
Vandy
Vanderbilt as an away. So
so they go to Fayetteville and to A&M. Texas is, and that's another thing about
Yeah.
OU schedule next year is that Texas game is a home game for us. We only get 3 conference home games,
that's fun.
and we get and there's well that would be considered
You
4.
act like we've never played at Kyle Field.
No, I'm just saying that would have been 4.
You act like we don't own Kyle
We don't
Field.
play Texas A&M next year. They didn't do that pod system like you think. I don't think we play
Well,
A&M,
that's what they had talked
and we
about.
don't play Arkansas either.
I thought we did play Arkansas.
I don't think we play them next year.
Oh no, we've got Missouri.
Mississippi, and then
Oh,
and then Bama, Georgia, LSU,
yeah.
and somebody else that's huge. Florida probably. Or
Probably,
was
I
it?
think. It was Florida, Tennessee, something.
I don't know. Pull that up, Sean. Go to that for next
Just-
year. So as we talk
Next
about
year.
that, but no, it'd be next year. But I'm going to pull
I
up.
thought you wanted A&M. I'm pulling up A&M.
No.
No. He
Oklahoma's-
wanted Texas
Oklahoma's next
and
year.
Oklahoma.
Oh my my God, I hate both of you.
Sorry. That was
Texas
just
and
that.
Oklahoma when they entered the SEC.
I'm going to talk a little bit about.
Can you not keep up?
I'm going to talk a little bit at the Red Raiders.
Not with YouTube.
You guys look. I'm going to talk about Texas and how
Kenny
everyone
changes his damn mind every 5 minutes.
About Texas Tech's schedule this year. Now, they do open with Oregon, non-conference, so we'll know a lot about them right off the bat because that is going to be an Oregon game at home. Then they play They're at West Virginia, at Baylor, at BYU.
Who is this?
Oh, I'm
Tech?
sorry. I was reading it backwards. Back up. Wyoming. They open with Wyoming at home or away, and then Oregon's at Tech, non-conference, and then Tarleton State. So they're two and one is what I would go with. And then they're at West Virginia, play Houston at home.
Weber State.
Then Texas Tech goes to Baylor, and then
they get Kansas State at home.
Yes, Kansas State at home, and then BYU's at home, or they go to BYU.
They go to BYU.
Then they get a road game off, or they get a week off, and then they go
TCU.
So and then Kansas, they go to Kansas, and so they go to Texas. So really, the schedule sets up pretty nice as far as their home games, but they are playing Texas, TCU, Kansas State. Don't let Baylor just be a pushover at home.
Yeah.
And then Kansas,
play Oregon,
and then
too.
Kansas at home. Auburn was the other one. That's what it is. So we're going to play away games. Are going to be Auburn, LSU, Missouri, and Ole Miss. And so, which game are we going for that one next year?
You can go to Auburn.
And then what was the other one, Sean? Then we're going to
Georgia.
play. Oh, there's the home.
here.
There's the home game. We're going to have
Bama,
South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama at home. Plus Texas.
I wouldn't mind going to that Bama.
I mean, that's a slaughter fest right there. I mean, that.
Returning Spencer Rattler, possible.
We do play Maine, though, next year as a non-conference.
Okay.
We are definitely flowing right into the SEC. It'll probably be around Thanksgiving.
No, in our defense, the
That's
SEC
hilarious.
said, here are the teams you can choose from for your non-conference.
Yes.
Unless we approve a Power 5, these are the teams you
That's what I'm saying. We're going to win 9 or 10 games this year.
We need you to warm up with FCS.
We're not going to
6
win.
games
We're
this
not going to
year,
win 9 or
5,
10
6.
next year. We need to win. We can't turn into Auburn or Arkansas. We need to win 8, and that's going to be a stretch to do. It sure is. But anyway, all right. So moving on, I did have Cincinnati, West Virginia also last. I kind of rotated. I had Cincy last.
Iowa State,
I had
West Virginia, Cincinnati.
You had Cincy last too.
Yeah, but I might need to move that Iowa State down because, like I said, they lost their quarterback for the gambling. I think
He
the
was
other
leaving
guys-
anyway. I think.
Decker?
Yeah, I think he was a done guy.
But he was their starting quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he was done anyway. You know what I mean? I don't think they lost him because of gambling.
No, he was out because of gambling. He was part of the gambling.
No, but I thought he was a senior already, wasn't he? I could be wrong.
Senior or not, he's still the starting quarterback for this season.
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, who are they going to start, though?
And Decker was supposed to start. I don't know who's starting now. And they lost the running back to an injury, the starting running back. And I don't know how many guys. I think the other guys got reinstated for the gambling issue.
Yeah, I've not kept up with my Iowa State news like I should.
I don't know how I'm keeping up with it, but I keep getting it in my news
I have
feeds.
watched a lot
Because
of.
you're a Purdy fan.
No, I've watched a lot about the gambling stuff, and it seems like Iowa and the state of Iowa is the only people that gamble.
Well,
And
they're instituting now. They're instituting. What do they call it? Student surveyors or something that everybody's shit's going to be watched from now on.
And Sean, the leading record, Jarrell Brock left because of the gambling. You're right about that.
Are we moving on to a
Did you
different
just say
segment?
that?
What were we going on to?
Did he just say I was right?
Yeah, he did.
I don't know where he went. Did anybody see where he went? Anyway,
No,
all
I
right.
didn't see where he
So yeah, I think they're going to struggle for sure. But Campbell, he's a good coach. Everybody says allegedly one of the greatest.
Yeah, but he's just
he
lost
does
it.
well lately. So anyway, all right, let's move on.
Well,
let's
you can't replace Brock Purdy with Brock Purdy.
All right. Let's move on to do we have anything else in college to talk about? Any big news that we missed?
Well, news-wise, no, but we have to pick our Final Four.
Oh yes, we can do that right now.
We need to do our Final Four pick.
Do we start at 4?
No, I don't. We're not going
Or
to
do we
pick an
start at
order.
1?
We're not going to pick an order.
We're not
Oh,
picking
gotcha.
order.
Just pick.
the four
Just
teams.
pick
Pick
your
four
just pick your
teams.
final. Pick final.
Heard. Has everyone got Georgia?
Yes.
Yes.
Has everyone got Michigan?
No.
I do have Michigan.
I do.
So three of us.
Kenny, remember, Kenny has Ohio
Okay,
State.
why do you
over
not have
Michigan.
Michigan?
I think Ohio State breaks the curse this year. I think they're more talented overall, the skill positions. I don't like that they're not returning a quarterback. That's why everyone's in love with Michigan. JJ is coming back for the quarterback for Michigan. Ohio State's going to start a new quarterback, but the wide receivers for Ohio State are second to none. The defense is going to be better under Jim Knowles. They got better
Do you have
last year.
Ohio State Final Four?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. I have them Final Four.
Heard.
Okay, so let me write down. Everybody's got. Hang on.
Yeah, us three, we have
We all
Georgia,
have-
Michigan.
Georgia,
Okay,
Michigan.
So Kenny.
Does anyone have Alabama or LSU?
I've got a split. It's either LSU or Oregon.
Interesting.
You know, I kind of almost went Oregon too. I really like Oregon. I had USC from the beginning.
You beginning?
No, I mean from the beginning. But I did a little research about their offensive line. They actually Lincoln Riley came in to that according to some prognosticators that offensive line was pretty talented. Some have left. Some have went to the NFL. They're younger, less talented according to them. I'm going to kind of back off my USC pick. I don't like that Utah is going to not start with Rising because I don't know when he's going to come back from the injury.
They think game 3.
Yeah, but I like their defense.
Possible 2, but game
The
3 at least.
and the team that stands out in the Pac-12 that could make a huge jump this year is Oregon. I don't know if I'm picking them. I don't think I am. I'm not picking a Pac-12.
Everybody's got
for the Final Four.
Georgia,
I just took Oregon. Like I said,
and three of us
I've
have
got Oregon
Michigan.
or LSU.
You have Ohio State, right? Instead of Michigan.
Correct.
Okay, so I got the first two. Now we're on to the third one.
Florida State.
I've got Florida State.
Ooh, we're going to cuddle later.
Okay, so me and Sean.
Kenny. Say it. Say Florida State.
I like 2 out of the SEC this year. I'm going to go LSU on that pick.
Well, we're not doing numbers. We're just doing. Do you have Florida State on your list?
I do not.
Okay,
Why?
so Kenny has. You have LSU. And Zach. Third team.
I have Alabama and LSU. You can just put them down. I don't know if anyone's got
You're
both.
picking 3 SEC teams?
That's what I said. I mean, is that even possible?
That's never happened.
Oh, well, fuck. Throw USC in there then. Take away Alabama.
Did you just?
I mean, I'm just saying it's not impossible
LSU.
I mean,
because
I said it. I
Loser!
asked you and you're like, totally possible.
Okay, so
no,
Kenny,
I mean it's not impossible. It's just never
if
happened.
it's never happened, then I'm
you
not
got
doing it.
Georgia, Ohio State, and LSU so far. Sean has got Georgia, Michigan, and Florida State. Zach has Georgia, Michigan, and LSU so
And
far.
USC.
And I have Georgia,
I don't know who
Michigan,
that fourth
and
one
Florida
is. I
State.
couldn't pick one. I don't know.
And then, so
top three
your
of those,
fourth
though.
one is who?
USC, I guess. Throw that in there.
Okay.
Cute time.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, and
I can't pick
Sean,
Oregon
your
now.
fourth
It's
one?
You guys.
See, that's where it's split between Oregon and LSU. I don't know which one to pick out of those two.
okay, you got to pick one. Okay, we'll come back to you. Circle
I'm not
back.
ready either. I'm waiting on him.
Just
Okay,
give me Oregon. Give me Oregon. Give me Oregon. Now go to Kenny. Give me Oregon and go to Kenny.
No, I got.
Okay.
I
What? No, Kenny. You got to pick now. You're on the
So
board.
no, hold on. So what? So you got yours. You went ahead with USC.
Yeah, mark the USC out. I'm going to just hang on a second. Let me just listen to what you guys talk about for a
It's
bit.
like ordering food with you bastards.
But those are my top
Well,
three,
hold
though.
on now. No,
Georgia,
go ahead and
Michigan,
start over
LSU.
here with them.
Okay,
I'll
I'll
be
go
ready
ahead.
when you
I'll go
come
ahead
around.
and pick my top four. I've got Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and I'm going LSU.
There's no, it's just
Say it
that-
again. Sorry.
Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and LSU.
So I'm going Georgia,
Florida State's
Michigan.
only big real challenge. They have two. Clemson is one of them. Not that big in my opinion. I think Florida State beats them. LSU, they play them week one. I think they lose to LSU, but it's week one. It's non-conference. I still think Florida State gets in.
There's always a rogue fourth spot. You know what I mean?
I got Georgia, Michigan State. Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, LSU.
So you didn't pick anybody from the Big 12. You didn't
Somebody's
take
throat
OU or
or
Texas.
I did not.
No, didn't take him.
So you think they're going to have multiple losses?
I do.
Are you looking at Clemson?
I do. I think.
I seen you looking at that earlier too.
Here's my deal. I
He's
think.
cute
I
timing it over
think
there.
OU splits with Texas
Hold on.
in either the
Kenny
Big 12 or
doesn't
regular
want
season.
to admit
OU
that-
beats them, and I think OU also loses to. Texas also loses to Alabama.
Kenny does not
So
want
two
to
twos.
admit
Yeah.
that he wants that Florida State pick.
Not yet.
Yeah, see?
Now,
I can see it in his eyes.
now
There's
hold
a
on.
twinkle.
Now hold on. So you think about Florida State, and we played in the bowl game in the Cheez-It Bowl. Now, Eric Gray was out. We lost Mims. I don't
Other
think
guys
played.
had set out.
And some of Florida State's, I'm sure, did too. And we were hung in with them the whole time. They had 1 loss or 2 losses all year, and we had 6. So was that because OU got much better at the end of the year, or was that because they actually played somebody pretty difficult, being Florida State? I mean, bowl games are tough.
Better quality opponent, and we had finally had a season to be together, so I was like, okay, guys, this is...
Well, and I'm not saying bowl games. We all sit there, and some teams just don't give a fart about,
Allegedly,
going to a bowl
every Alabama game that's not a national
that they lose.
title.
Yeah, and it's only ones they lose they don't care about.
Oh yeah. And living in the heart of Alabama, it was that way the whole time. Oh, we didn't care about the game. We're looking to next.
My
season.
4th pick is Clemson.
Ooh.
Oh, you
They
suck. You
they
suck.
are my upset special to sneak into the Final Four this year. Now I came down.
You dirty trash.
I came down to OU or Texas as that 4th. Potentially. If OU only can lose 1 and win to beat Texas, now, if Texas beats us and wins against us, they'll be in. The Alabama loss won't look as bad. Now, they are starting a new quarterback at Alabama. They don't know who it is, and they only lost by 1 point last year, Texas did. So, are we not giving enough credit to Texas? Or are we giving too much to Alabama? Because everybody's waiting for that year that Alabama starts to crumble,
Starts
to fold, and that's usually when he
slowly.
does the best, obviously.
But I didn't have Bama in there.
No, I didn't either, but I'm saying starting we'll know a lot about Texas.
So I've got yours, I've got mine.
Yeah, but I'm going to
so
go.
we're waiting on Zach.
So I want to talk a little bit about Clemson, though. Clemson's schedule. Their road games are Syracuse, Miami, North Carolina State, and South Carolina.
Miami and South Carolina is going to be the 2 hardest.
And they got Florida State in
And
Clemson.
you can't even count the
Okay,
treble.
I've got my 4th, actually.
You can't even count Spartansburg to Clemson as
Just for fun,
as an away game.
Funsies.
It's right next to each other.
Plus, Lincoln Riley's brother now is at Clemson, so the
Riley.
offense is going to be better. And Cade Klubnik is going to be the starter. He started last year. DJ Ungamaloa is now at Oregon State.
I'm going to pick Washington as my Final 4. They can beat USC, and they can beat Utah. And besides that, their schedule is super cake.
Did you not let oxygen get to his head every so often when he was young?
I like Penix, okay?
He likes
You do like Penix.
Penix.
Yeah, yes, he does. No, and I kind of want to see.
And they're ranked 10, and it's completely possible they beat USC and Utah.
Till Tulsa beats them game 2.
God, I know. Wouldn't that be funny? I see Boise right off the bat.
Yeah, who's their first?
Oh, they play Oregon, which that's another reason why I picked it. It'll be fun. It's kind of fun. They got Oregon in there. One of you's got USC, right?
Well,
Anyway.
No, I don't.
No one picked USC.
No, I didn't.
Hate that runs through
I
these
left
names.
out I almost had them, but I think that they're going to kind of listen. The Pac-12 this year is the best they've been in years,
and the best there ever be.
That's right.
Oregon plays. I looked it up a minute ago. Oregon plays. No, I mean USC. Excuse me.
Well, you
USC
can find their
plays
schedule.
4 out of the 5 weeks. They play. Hang on.
Pull it up. As you pull it up, I'm going to talk a little bit about Washington's schedule. Washington starts out. I'm just doing conference. They play California. They're at Arizona. Now they but then they take a bye week after Arizona,
and then
play Oregon.
That could be 5 straight wins.
The
right
bye
there,
week
and
is
then Oregon.
early, so then they go. Arizona State's easy at Stanford. USC's going to be tough. They play Utah at home. They go to Oregon State, which everyone says they're going to be good. They're not a bad team. And then they finish with Washington State. The key 2 games are for Washington is Oregon and USC and Utah. But if they lose one, that means they're still not out because they're going to take the Pac-12's going to take the top 2. So now you start to lose 2, then you start looking about who's beat who and who's beat what. Did you pull up Oregon's schedule?
No, I pulled up USC.
Oh, okay.
I was
Talk
talking
pull
about
up
USC.
Oregon's
USC.
Talk about, yeah.
USC has on October 14th. They play Notre Dame at Notre Dame.
I mean, they're struggling right
Say
now.
what now?
They play Notre Dame at Notre Dame. USC plays Notre Dame at Notre Dame.
Yeah, but not a conference game though.
I understand, but that's the first week. The second week they play Utah at home. Then they go to
That's the second week of what? You're talking what week?
the second week in a row. It's
but what date
it's
is
October
that?
14th, and then they got October 21st.
Okay, so Rising should be back by then for Utah. That's why I was key. I was like, thinking to play that
here's the
early.
deal. They play Notre Dame, then they got Utah, then they got California, which is okay, whatever. That's a win for them. But then they play Washington, and then they play Oregon. So 4 out of the 5 weeks they play Notre Dame, Utah, Washington, and Oregon. 4 out of 5 weeks.
Say that again one more time. Sorry.
USC plays Notre Dame, Utah, Washington, and Oregon 4 out of 5 weeks in a row.
Is there someone split in the middle?
Yeah, California.
Okay, I think USC starts off pretty soft with like 5 or 6 easy wins in a row.
Oh, they do. They play San Jose State, Nevada, Stanford, Arizona, Colorado, Arizona State, and then they get into that's where they go to Notre Dame, Utah.
They potentially
Washington,
could be
USC.
number 4 to 5, maybe 2 to 3, depending on what losses.
That's what they're going to try to do.
They are. They're going to pimp that until the onslaught starts.
Yes,
No,
that's what I'm
everybody's
saying. Late in the
sucking on
season.
But hey, listen, but it is. I mean, the Pac-12's got to be upset because they finally got the best year of football they're going to have in a while.
Everybody's
with the
voting
top four. And then
everybody's
they're
voting
getting
them
away.
to have the best quarterbacks in all the divisions right now.
Well, so
this season.
So you look at
and
Oregon.
it breaks apart.
You look at Oregon. Never was a fan of Bo Nix, but he played pretty well. Dan Lanning.
Dan the Man Levitan.
And they're really.
He's going to be
pimping him.
second-year coach. He made a lot of dumb mistakes last year coaching too. The games we watched, I think those are going to be improved. Hopefully, like Venables. I mean, he was a first-year guy, so I think
This is Oregon, though. But,
Yes,
but
that's
here's my deal on Oregon.
Oregon loses the Tech week 2.
I'm going to say they have a shot going to Texas Tech. They have a shot to lose there.
it's a tough place to play.
What about Colorado?
Right, okay.
Anything?
No. But then you
No shot.
have
Not
them
bowl
at,
eligible.
Then you have them at
Not bowl
Washington
eligible.
and at Utah.
No, they got the harder of the schedule.
I understand that, but you're
No,
talking
Washington,
about Oregon.
Washington was a little easier. No, Washington was a little easier because
Where's the bye week at? Where do
they're-
you see that at?
Because
If you
September
look
30th to
at
14th,
gotcha,
so
where it's-
there's a gap. So see, that's also they're going to prepare for Washington. What did we just say was the other bye week? Is that Washington had the same bye week for Oregon?
Yes, I think so. We just talked about that, I believe. Ain't that what you said?
Week 5, yeah.
Dang.
Oh, so they both go to
interesting.
bye week and then go against each other?
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting. Well, because that's whoever's going
I'm
to win.
just saying. I think
Or it's
Oregon
gonna be
beats
two.
Tech, but I think Tech is
What date was that? Sean, tell me real quick so I don't have to look it up.
What?
Yeah, it
The
is.
14th.
They're both the same bye week, so they're coming in together in this after.
I'm
both
glad
bye
I
weeks.
could give you
Thank
that
appreciate
information.
that.
But I'm just saying they go to Washington and they go to Utah and they go to Tech. Those are 3 games. I mean, I think they're better in Tech, but when you go to Tech, I'm sorry, that's a little bit of an environment to play in, and I think Tech is going to be a little better.
They're 2 out of 3 tough games. I mean, let's be honest. It's going to be we're talking the top 4. I don't think anybody. I mean, Oregon State. Do they play them? Yeah. So they have them at home. Oregon State's kind of that 5th team, depending on DJ how he does. But as far as they're 2 out of 3 on the road, where Washington is, they've got Utah, or they go to USC. They've got Oregon and Utah at home.
I know. That's
So
what-
Washington has the advantage there.
on there. Yes.
And USC, what was their? You told me their schedule, but where was their?
USC.
where was
Okay,
their
what are you
action-
wanting to know?
Where was their? Oh boy, halftime!
Oh, halftime.
USC
21-14 USC to SJSU.
And anybody that listens to this show probably thought, God, you guys really are just gonna bang on fucking
Dog.
USC.
We're gonna dog
Yeah.
USC.
Yeah, that's what I was
season.
saying earlier. So our fans do know this is
Hey,
Saturday. That
it
we're
doesn't
recording.
matter.
They go to
USC.
USC
Okay.
goes and plays Notre Dame, which I know it's not a conference, but that's still
A loss, a
a
potential,
loss, a potential loss. They get Utah at home.
Okay.
They get Washington at home,
Yes.
but then they go to Oregon.
So they have a little bit of an advantage there too. Out of those 3 Pac-12 teams,
They get 2 at
get
home.
2 at home.
I understand this.
So Washington's at an advantage. Is Utah the loser in this?
Yes,
Also,
Utah's the one that's got.
pull up their
hang on.
schedule and talk about it.
Okay.
So you've got Washington your Final Four. Is he the only one that picked a Pac-12 team in the Final Four? No one picked a Big 12 team.
No, he picked Pac-12. He picked Oregon.
Oh, you did have Oregon. Okay.
I went ahead and took Oregon over
Okay.
LSU.
Okay.
So that's going to
Because-
be a fun week 6 or whatever when they do play each other for me and Sean.
Oh yeah, here.
Washington.
Yeah, this
You
is-
want Washington? Washington.
No, we got Washington. It was Utah.
Penix.
He's pulled it up right now.
Oh, you got Washington.
No, I've got Washington. Washington.
They
had
play.
the
They play
advantage.
sorry.
Weber, not Weber State.
That's Weber.
I just said
Yeah.
that.
Who is this?
This is
This is Utah. They start out with
Yeah.
Florida Baylor, and Cameron Rising possibly is not in the second game.
So you could lose to Florida.
So yeah,
Right off
and
the
they
bat.
played Florida tough last season, but that was with Cameron.
I know.
Then they go to Weber, not Weber State.
Potential.
Or,
Yeah,
no,
but-
that Weber,
but-
they come to them. UCLA comes to them. Then they got
Well, I
Oregon
mean, if-
State early.
Utah
They're
was-
at USC though.
Yes, they are.
I mean,
What they were? Oh, no, they
and
had a home
Washington.
and yes,
game. Didn't they have to
So
go?
Washington really lucked out this year,
Yeah.
didn't they?
They really did.
And they won 9 or 10 games last year.
Yes.
But if you look at their schedule, they didn't play everybody that was tough. They actually had
An easier-
schedule.
and they have an
So-
easier.
I'm telling
schedule
you,
this year.
last
But you
year.
get-
No,
I
but
was-
they play all the big boys
You
this
get two.
year.
I know, but they
cupcakes
get
at
it
the end.
easier
Yeah.
because they're at home
Yeah.
on most of them.
You got 2 cupcakes.
I've been
at
all
the
about
end,
the
and then
Phoenix
a
kid.
fluff game.
I've told you
here.
that a
I know.
million times.
So
Whoever-
it's just his year to shine.
And well, that's why he came back 5th year, because I know that he's like, hey, I'm going to try to win a
Is it 5th or 4th? Is he,
5th,
he
I
didn't
believe, right?
redshirt, did he?
Because he could have went last year to the draft.
Yeah, but you can't after 3.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
But there again, you have
He
Washington.
could have redshirted. I don't know.
The 2 Washington games. I mean, there's several. They play Utah. They play but at
Welcome to the Pac-12 network.
my deal is Washington. The 2 away games that they have that is hard is they have USC.
Sure.
That's the hardest one, and then the only other one they have that is even. And it's not really that.
Who are you
is
talking about, USC or
no
Washington?
Washington?
Washington,
Is
yeah.
Oregon State? They have to go play at.
That's what I said.
Oregon
I just
State.
looked at that schedule. And
They
I
have
picked
the
them as
advantage.
4.
They definitely have the advantage. All right, so Creston for
So they've got their bye week is right there between Oregon State and Cal.
Theirs was a little early, and I did not like that.
It's
about
right
oh
at
no, I was talking about yes, that was an early bye week. Yes, was Utah's. All right, Creston, real quick for everybody because we've been yakking back and forth. Give us your final 4, each person's final 4. We'll move on.
Each person's final 4. Kenny has Georgia, Ohio State, LSU, Clemson.
Winner.
Sean has Georgia,
Clemson
Michigan,
shaky.
Florida State, Oregon.
Winner.
Zach has Georgia, Michigan, LSU, and Washington. I have Georgia, Michigan,
winner,
Florida
winner.
State, LSU.
Say yours again.
Sorry,
Sean's
winner.
talking.
I have Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, LSU.
Okay. You the only one that picked Florida State, or did you?
Sean also did.
Did Kenny have LSU in his?
I did.
Yes.
Okay, so we all
We
have,
all have LSU.
We all have LSU.
I had
and
we
LSU.
all
have
have Georgia and
15.
LSU.
Yeah,
we,
so
we
Georgia,
all have
LSU.
that. The only difference is we all 3 have Michigan.
and he has
versus
Ohio State.
Ohio
And then our
State.
4th is all different.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
4th you have Washington, Clemson.
Yours is Florida State,
Shit.
and his is Oregon.
So all different there.
Yeah.
Well, good. All right. Moving on. All right. There's
just
our
thinking
final
words.
4. Now we're gonna move on
Where the hell
to.
that buzz came
We're gonna
from?
move on to
I
the.
hit my mic.
Yeah, we're going to move on to the NFL. We've talked about we did our
you.
picks for every every division on the NFL, and so last week we talked about let's do real quick rundown. We each got to pick our 5 over unders, and we went by the.
You said over unders were both NCAA and
yeah, and you could do mix and match, 5 overs, 5 unders. This is going to be a contest for us that we're going to do throughout the year. We did it. We used Vegas Insight. We used FanDuel actually. We took
we
the
just
odds.
use FanDuel for the wins.
Correct for the win. So that's the over unders. We're
All
not
of
talking about
these-
spreads, dude. We're not
I
even
know,
talking
but
about
all
those
these
papers.
are still Vegas. I'm saying,
Yes.
are we going to pick
Not today.
week 1?
No.
Because it starts.
No.
So we're not doing week 1.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna pick next Saturday. It starts next Sunday. there's a third.
NCAA starts.
Oh, are we picking this year for? How are we doing our picks? We just talked about that, didn't we?
We can pick all 10 right here for this.
Oh my gosh.
And then the,
Yeah, I see what you're saying because our college is going to start before the pod. Next
That's all I'm
week.
saying.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that. In a minute.
for the I'd say for this we just tell what we
Hey, well,
changed.
no, we're going to talk about. No, that was our divisions, and then we're going to do our over unders.
Yeah.
We'll do our
Fine.
college picks through the week, and we'll just talk about it.
How
on
do
the pod.
you
Well,
how do
for
you
this, we
guys
just tell what we changed.
format-wise want to go through us doing this?
Sexually?
No, the
Oh.
over-under.
The over under? We'll start.
What's the easiest way to do that? That's what I'm saying.
I think each one just.
Just go.
Let's all do unders and we'll all do overs.
Yeah, let's do overs first and then start with Kenny and go. What's your overs? Your
Okay.
five.
Over unders. Who I like, I'm going to go overs. We're doing overs, right? Sorry. I like the Jags. They were 9.5. I like them as an over.
We were just shitting on Trevor Lawrence, and now he's like, I think they'll win 13 games.
Yeah, but not in saying.
Kenny does nothing but shit on Trevor Lawrence
He's like-
because of his beautiful hair
No,
and his long
overs-
horse face.
These are overs?
These are the overs.
For Kenny.
But it was 9.5. I
Okay,
mean,
real quick,
Okay,
I'm
who do
actually
you
going to
have?
change mine. I'm sorry.
Who do you have
are you
first?
changing already?
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with Kenny because my last one. No,
Of course you are.
No. Listen. The reason why is my
Tell them they
last
didn't get
one.
money from Daddy.
My last one that I picked was random. I threw Cincinnati up there because they're 11-5. Totally potential for them to get higher, so I just kind of threw it on there. But what we were just talking about, the Jags and stuff in that division.
Look who they play.
Yeah, that's 6 wins right there. So, I mean, the fact that they can't win 4
At
more.
the worst 5.
Yeah, exactly. I'll
Well,
take
and I've got
Jags.
them winning
Who do you
10 or
have
11. I
number
got
one?
Jaguars 9.5.
What was the Jags? They were 9.
9.5.
Okay.
9.5. I like the Giants at 7.5. I also picked that as an NFL pick.
Can't risk it.
You know why I picked that? Because I Sean likes the Commanders. They're just not quite there yet. I think their defense is going to be weaker, and their offense has some skill positions. Sam Howell's not a great starting quarterback, I don't think. I don't think they've got it.
Well, I
So-
think last year after Daniel Jones' big year, I think after his big contract, he's going to digress a little bit.
I know they won
I'm
10
obviously being sarcastic.
They won a little. They
But-
won 10 or 11 games last year.
I know.
I'm going to
with
pick
the
them about
defense
8.
and a good coach, and I just don't. Yeah,
And-
I couldn't
and
pick.
plus
I've
they
seen
pick-
it too. I just
Plus, they
couldn't do
picked
it.
up Isaiah Simmons, one of the Cardinals' best defensive players. He was linebacker of the year in college for Clemson a few years back. They picked him up from the Cardinals yesterday. He played today for like a menial pick.
That whole division, including the Eagles, every single one of those 4 teams.
Do you want to look at their schedule right there?
Thank you. Yes. So we're talking about that, and I've looked at it. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tell the fans what your
Well, what schedule is
numbers
this?
pointing
This
on the
isn't
TV.
the Giants.
No, it's Washington's.
I don't need Washington.
Yeah, we
I
want
don't give a-
Giants.
We want the Giants. No one's
Um,
picking Washington.
Yeah, no one gives a shit about them.
Picking them above because they have a cake.
You have changed your mind about. Well, you say
That's
they
a
have
cake schedule.
It's cake compared to the
You got-
Giants.
Bills
Loss,
lost. Eagles lost. Bears potential loss if he's an MVP. Broncos lost. They got a new coach.
Eagles.
Did you say Broncos lost?
Yes.
Eagles.
I mean, you see where I
Moron.
picked the Broncos. I picked them above the
Yeah,
Chargers.
we know because you're a moron.
That's fine. We'll see what
Don't,
happens.
did he just call me?
I got
a
moron.
Go me, moron!
For all our fans out there, I don't understand how. I understand last year what the Broncos did, but
I also understand. I picked them last place too. so.
gearing up,
But
gearing up to that year, we're all like Russell
Pull up
Wilson
the
to the
Giants.
Broncos. Oh my God, we put them at like fucking 10 to 12 wins, and then
I did
and then
not.
they
I
have
don't
one.
think we did.
No,
I
didn't.
think
You might have, but I didn't.
We all put the Broncos number 2 in that fucking division. We have it on podcast too. All of us had that there.
Well,
Is
dig
that
it
the
up.
only thing you remember?
Yes. And I remember you being very clear about the Broncos
me,
too.
sorry.
The Donkeys. We had the Donkeys very high. That was one of
And
our
it
first
did.
episodes.
No, we talked about my wife loving the Donkeys.
Yes, I know. That's why I call them the Donkeys. I mean, we joke about it, but we all picked them very high.
Might be a little right.
So listen.
Pick the Broncos.
No, so some of these,
And then they have a bad season, and they get Sean Payton, and now we still think they're going to be shit.
well,
I
Jerry
just don't
Judy's
get
got a
it.
hamstring. That generally leads into not healed real fast.
We got Sutton and
Oh, all stars.
everyone else. Yeah.
Pick him in your fantasy team. Pick Sutton. Yeah. But no, look at the Giants, which, you talked about the Commanders. They all play all about the same teams because they rotate divisions.
Yeah.
So, but look at the Giants. Well, I was just saying.
I know you're fine.
But you can't tell me they're going to lose under 7 games. They're not going to win 7 games.
Who?
The Giants.
Oh.
Is that the first game, Sean?
Yes. Dallas, Cowboys
Cowboys
Arizona.
potential loss. Cardinals
Niners.
win. Niners lost. Seahawks lost. Dolphins lost. Bills lost.
No, they're not losing to the Seahawks. They're not losing to the Commanders.
Where do you got
They're
the
not
Seahawks?
losing to the Raiders. They're going to split with the Cowboys.
Wait, are you taking your boy Tua for a win? And
Oh, definitely taking the Dolphins for a win.
got him.
Yeah, 7. Oh, you count them up. You can
Kenny's
get
got the
8.
What are we
Seahawks number
talking
2
about?
with Gino against the 49ers.
Well, look at how they
7
end.
wins.
Eagles.
Look at how the Giants
That's
end.
second
Eagles.
place.
Yeah.
Saints.
Rams 6 wins. Cardinals
Cowboys.
3. Yeah,
I
that's
got
second
4
place.
losses so far. Up
Let's
to the
move
Cowboys.
on
Keep
because
going.
No, hold
it's
on,
still
I just-
on you on the over.
No, I just want
We
to
got
talk
a
about
long
the
way to
Giants.
go.
No, just talking
This
about
is
the
gonna be
Giants.
going
Yeah, we
on
got
for
a
a
long
long
way.
time.
No, I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
Look at the
Who
Giants.
gives a fuck? That's
You
who
were
you
arguing.
picked.
All
We
right.
disagree. Keep
All right,
going.
Is that your
Okay.
overs? Is that your overs?
No,
He's got 2.
He's only he's 2
Yeah,
in.
he's 2.
Go
We're
on.
20 minutes
Move
in.
on.
Come on,
We're
move
not
on.
20 minutes into
Oh,
this
everybody
thing.
else gets like 2
Sorry,
minutes.
17
Yeah.
and
Zach, what
No,
are your
'cause
overs?
now hold on. I'm not finished. K-State 7.5.
You said we're just doing the overs.
I am
That's
still
what
on the
he's still on
overs.
number 2 of
That's
his
number
overs.
3.
That's number 3. Hey,
Indiana
come on.
3.5,
Hell yeah. Next.
and Oklahoma State they were 6.5.
Okay, cool. What do you got,
You just went all
Preston?
over.
Hang on. What
I
was
picked
OSU?
6.5. I picked 2 NFL, 3 college.
Let's only object if it sounds really crazy. We'll just let
Well,
it go.
we're going to talk about the Giants because you guys have scoffed
Yeah, we
at
can talk
that.
about it in a bit.
Anyway,
Go
I know.
on.
Go ahead.
I got the Texans as an over at 6.5.
I got to scoff about that, but we'll do that later.
I
Go
got
ahead.
them as an under. I really do.
I had them as an under.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Everybody just
CJ Stroud's big ear. That's what you're saying.
I got TCU as an over. They're 7.5. Virginia Tech is a 5.5, and I've got them as an over. OSU is an over at 6.5, and I got Colorado State at an over at 4.5.
Okay. All right, Sean.
I only took 2 overs. Tulsa at the over.
Well, you
You gotta
need
have
to do
5.
3 more. So
For
study.
what? No, I don't.
It's
Yeah, you
5
have to
of
have
each.
5 of each.
No. You
Yes.
said just 5.
No, he said
No.
5 unders, 5 overs.
Yes.
Anywhere.
God damn it.
All right, you fix that. I'll go to me.
Yeah, it's going to be forever. I'm just going to do 2. I've got 2. Tulsa and then Oregon. That's it.
What was Oregon's?
9.5.
Oh, 2 zeros. Tulsa was 4.5.
4.5.
Man, I looked at their schedule. Oh.
Who do you have?
Just Tulsa and Oregon is my over.
And he can copy off the rest of us. We can get his picks later.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll have to.
And what was the spread?
4.5. And 9.5.
Just write down Tulsa
Go.
over.
Go.
Okay,
keep my
I'm going to
notes.
give you mine and then a quick reason why. Just let me go through them. I can knock them out real quick. Over, right off the bat. Pitt, 8-5. They won 9 last year. Why can't they do 9-10 again? I just don't get why. Look it up. Winning season. He's never had a losing season. And they've improved. Kansas City, 11-5.
I'm sorry. Were you talking about Pittsburgh, like the football team?
Yes,
NFL? Oh,
yes.
okay.
Oh, and I should tell all our fans, mine are all NFL.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
so-
what was it? What was Pittsburgh?
8-5.
8.5. Okay.
They
Okay.
can definitely win 9-10. Yeah,
So you're
so.
not a gambler.
Okay, Kansas City, 11-5. Easily they can win 13-14.
I had them on my list.
Okay, Jets 9-5. I already picked them to win that division, so 10-11 there. Rams 6-5. I said they're going to bounce back, so they got 8-10 in my opinion. And then the Jags, I agreed with you. I could knock out my unders in like 2 seconds.
What was the spread
if you
on the
wanna-
Jags?
9-5. I can do my unders real quick if you want. They're all NFL. Actually, no, the unders on because they're all NFL. I want one of you to guess if you guys can guess the 5 because this is
Nobody
actually
cares.
funny.
Yeah.
They're the who's going to get the first overall pick. It's actually funny. It's the 5
Sean, what was your
most
three?
likely.
What was your 3 unders for NFL?
talk about it all the time.
I'm going to go ahead and go through them and give you a little explanation after each one.
Well, let's
Stanford-
explain that he didn't listen to the rules, and even though he texts the rules about 5
I
of
just
each,
said
he makes them
five.
happen.
Yeah,
I didn't
explain
say
that
5 of
first,
each.
asshole.
I just said 5 over under. Any
5 of
five,
each.
any
We talked
5
about
over
this.
under.
Oh, so you did 2 and 3?
Yes.
Oh, what a
I just
fuck.
did
Oh,
5.
Jesus
Well, just give us
fucking
your
Christ.
3.
Yeah, Stanford under 2.5. The Colts.
That's funny.
The Colts under at 6.5, and the Panthers under at 7.5.
I had them. I didn't pick them, but I had them in my list.
What was the Colts?
What was your second? Colts was.
Colts was 6.5.
Yeah, I couldn't pick them because Anthony Richardson and then Taylor, who
You're
had a
stupid.
great
Just
season, and then
shut
last year he kind of had a bad season. You have
He's not
no
coming
idea what can
back.
happen there. It's just too
Move
scary.
on.
Who?
He's not
Move
coming
on.
back.
Jonathan
I don't think.
Taylor?
Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah, they told him
Have
he
you
has
been
till
living under a
Tuesday or
rock
Thursday
lately?
or something to find a new team.
Yeah, they
only watch NFL.
Sorry.
Jonathan Taylor's
Sorry.
going to be traded.
So I'm just saying, I go off my fantasy stats where I'm drafting. I see Jonathan Taylor very high, and he's still going. So they're just still drafting him high no matter where the fuck he goes.
Well, there's a potential.
Someone's going to pick him up, obviously.
Well, no, they've already denied a trade. It looks like the
Dallas had a deal in.
No, it
and
wasn't Dallas. It was the top one was the Vikings. Not Vikings and the Dolphins sent a trade.
You said
deal.
Vikings.
I was
like
like,
eight
sorry.
times.
I was like,
I
the
know.
Vikings will not pick him up.
The Cowboys,
they have a
the
lot of faith in
Cowboys
that Madison
was
kid.
talking about him, but they
I don't know why they would. They don't have the money.
Who?
And why would
Who?
they need him?
Cowboys.
No, you don't need him.
Yeah,
Pollard
You
and
got Pollard
Deuce.
and Deuce.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, it was on Sports Center
I
yesterday.
mean, there's a lot of
today.
Dallas fans that think that Deuce is the coming of Christ. So, I mean, I don't think,
It'll be better than Zeke.
Okay, so your unders are what, Zach?
They're really easy. It's the 5 worst teams: Atlanta, Carolina, Cleveland, Houston, and Bucks, all in the running to get the first.
Well, say
Atlanta
the team.
what?
and
Oh,
then
Atlanta
say-
8-5.
Yeah.
I mean, is Bijan going to carry you to 9 wins? That's insane. Kyle Pitts hasn't played worth a fuck, and
But you got the Falcons winning the division.
Look at that division. I just said that too. I was looking at it. The Saints, Panthers, and Bucks, I think, are all dog shit.
I think the Saints are going to beat the Falcons.
This is taking way
And
too
they,
goddamn
yeah,
long.
Dude, we've been on this 10 minutes. Relax because
Okay,
you didn't
all
read
right,
the rules.
so what
right.
was your second
We've
one?
been Patty.
Carolina,
We're almost at an hour.
7-5.
Okay.
And
We
we're
should be
done.
done with this
and
shit.
we're done. We don't have anything else. We're actually at an
We
hour.
have to listen
Where
to
we at?
you talk for
Where we at?
another 30
Okay, so
minutes.
We're an hour. What's an hour?
and then
This is
we'll-
funny. I picked
we're
that
at
whole
59.
division except for the Saints, so maybe you're right. Maybe I should switch it.
I don't have anything.
He's
Okay,
got
so
his
you
team
have
behind-
Atlanta
you know,
Panthers. What's
bullshit.
next?
Cleveland 9-5. There's no fucking way, dude. Did anyone else have that as an under?
9.5.
You did?
Oh,
I mean,
God.
there's no
I
way.
should've-
That is fucking impossible. Are you
Okay.
serious?
Now what?
Houston 6-5. I'm just being a dick. And then Bucks 6-5. The Buccaneers was my last. I didn't know. What was the Saints? Does anyone got the Vegas odds on Saints? Since I picked them to be second in the division.
I didn't have them wrote down.
Okay, what was the Texans was what?
6-5.
6-5. And
Bucks
the
6-5.
Okay.
What is the Saints?
Yeah, the phone.
9-5. I don't know. That's scary. I thought about the Saints too, but it's just like you never know.
Preston's my unders was Browns 9.5,
Hang on. Sorry. Kenny is Browns. Okay.
and then the rest were college. I took Texas State 4.5, Stanford 2.5, Ole Miss 6.5, and Tennessee 9.5.
Is that on a separate piece of paper?
Okay.
That'll be the
Preston?
volunteers.
I got Stanford, and then you got who?
Ole Miss 6.5, Tennessee at 9.5.
All of our picks is on a separate piece of paper. I was like, if so, rip that out before you leave. I'll put those on the board too.
Okay.
Yeah, Cleveland 9-5. I feel like is a very easy one, and it's gonna be ridiculous if I turn out to be totally wrong. But I feel like that's a very easy one.
Well, and that's one of my changes actually, is I picked them to drop. I did have.
Well,
them-
you're right. Now that I'm looking at it, and I said that about the Falcons.
I'm actually switching.
I might switch
I'm
the
switching
Saints to the Falcons.
I'm actually going along with you all, and I'm switching the Steelers to be third and the Browns to be fourth.
Whoa. Did you pick the Steelers last?
Mm-hmm. But I'm changing.
Dick.
Well, that was early. I mean, so. All right, Creston, did you get yours?
Yeah.
Everybody done? Okay, cool. All right. Let's move on.
I have no trivia.
Let's move on
Of course you do.
to. Let's
Yeah.
move on to Creston. You got anything for the outdoor minute?
No.
Didn't do anything. When's the next? It's too hot, isn't it? Only outdoors, grasshoppers and crickets.
September 17th is my next tournament. I'm going tomorrow to work at the lease some more, putting up some more stands, moving some more stuff around.
Very, very nice.
Outdoor
Very
minute.
nice. All right. Well, it's been too hot to do anything outdoors, so that's why we haven't had.
You ever
anything
struggle
on
with poison ivy out at that lease? Or?
Yeah,
Just for my wife.
we could talk. We could
She's
talk.
been spreading it to the children.
She's got 50% of her body
She's
covered.
been
with
getting that
poison
shit
ivy.
all over the couches. I've been itching everywhere.
All right, I've amended mine. I've got the Packers under at 7.5, Broncos under at 8.5.
Hold on.
Whoa,
Let him
whoa,
write
whoa,
down.
whoa.
Michigan over
Well,
at
you said you would give a
10.5,
small
Florida
explanation. Let's do
over
it.
at 5.5. I just want to be an asshole like you. I really don't care. And Illinois over at 6.5.
What's your over, Sean?
There, just
Okay.
read it off the fucking paper.
right.
Damn, I'm good.
All right. So
Daddy knows how to work it.
So
Yeah, rip that piece of paper. Out. I'll
update
write 'em
on-
on there. I'll have Hunter write them on the board.
Don't.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Don't take any
we'll do it
papers
on,
of mine
on
out
that
of here.
side right there.
Yeah,
Don't
with
have
the
any of my
NFLs.
paper, take 'em out.
Yeah.
Don't take any of my papers out of this house.
So
What the fuck are you talking about, Sean?
You don't take them out of this house.
I know.
Fine.
Hunter's always like, "Hey, can I clean up this desk?" I'm like, "I mean, if you want to get like
murder.
burned, it's like, don't touch the desk."
If you want a second bad eye,
Yeah. Whoa, fuck.
All right.
we're taking the other eye.
All right, let's move on. We're getting ready to wrap it up. We went over plenty of that. We've got next. We'll have our college picks for actual week.
We have to do. Yeah,
I don't-
we'll go to your house to do week one.
No. We're gonna do week one next week. We'll talk about the picks. That
Are we doing
picked.
Saturday or Friday?
I
we're
haven't,
live
I haven't
now.
seen game location.
What?
I haven't seen high school game location yet. So
It's a wave. Did you say?
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, is that why we do Saturdays?
Yes. So so we'll have our college picks that we're going to pick through the week. We'll talk about those a little bit. We'll give you our NFL picks next week. Like I said, we're going to do 10 picks throughout the week. We'll have a contest between all of us, and then last, as we're getting ready to close up, let's talk a little bit about as we're getting ready to start the NFL. We did our picks for the divisions a couple weeks ago. Did anybody have any changes?
Are we doing
Yes,
that on the
I have a
podcast?
few. Yes.
Yeah, we're just going to talk about the changes.
Oh, I'm not ready. I mean, the Jonathan Taylor and stuff like that, I mean, you guys can talk about it. I don't know. I mean, I still got to look now that we're doing changes. I mean, I'll have it done by Sunday.
It was on the list.
It was
anyway,
on the list.
I mean,
Yeah.
we got one more week.
Hey, look what I did.
This
I got
Jonathan-
start next
I don't
week.
get this
They
fucking
start.
list, by the way. I know what list you're talking about.
We start.
This list, you fucking moron.
Okay, we're
the
going.
list is behind
Hey, relax.
you. Do you
Oh,
have
I
any
thought you meant like a
changes?
list for a podcast.
Right here.
Yeah, I know I have it.
Oh,
I didn't know it was
Anyway,
a rush.
regardless,
Fuck.
we will have Thursday. You all need to relax. Relax.
I am on steroids.
You're on something. You're annoying, and you cuss too much. But anyway, so as we're getting that,
How am I
what's your,
doing?
Well, fuck
How am
my
I
bad.
doing?
what's your changes?
Oh, well, let's have the man that rambles on about nothing talk.
I
You're still
really like how they look. I mean, they're
Wait.
doing really well.
Wait,
Saints and Falcons. I'm switching them on the board. I'm going Saints first, Falcons second.
coming over to my side, are you?
Okay.
Did you pick Falcons number one?
I did.
That's
And
a change for me too. That's the one I'm gonna do.
I'm switching Saints and Falcons.
I very rarely say Kenny's right, but he really just got me pretty good a while ago when I said the Falcons as the under, and he's like, "Well, you picked him to win," and I'm like, "You're right." But in my defense, I did pick two other people from the division.
Hey, but I'm changing.
But
though,
Saints
that-
is hard.
But I'm changing that though. I'm going to put the Bucks third.
Cool.
I'm gonna move Carolina down to the bottom.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish mine.
Sorry.
Okay. Saints, Falcons, I'm switching them to, and I'm switching the Panthers and the Bucks. And I'm also going to switch the Broncos and the Raiders on my AFC West. That's
So
my
as
changes.
you're switch. Tell us how you're switching it.
Yeah, because I
I'm
was like,
switching
our
the-
listeners don't know.
The Broncos above the Raiders.
So that puts them at what place?
The Raiders are fourth now, and the Broncos are third.
Gotcha.
And then I'm switching the Saints and the Falcons. I'm putting Saints 1, Falcons 2, Bucks 3, Panthers
Yeah, that's
4.
how I'm going with that one too.
Well, you just asked me. I told you what I was
No,
switching.
that's
Yeah.
why. No, I'm switching mine up
So-
for that too.
Most everything I have is the same. I know
that's
two
it.
for sure I'm going to change. I guess I could tell you, but there's only two I know that I'm really changing. It's the Saints and Falcons. I had Falcons 1, Saints 2. I'm going to switch that.
Yeah.
And then the other one I had was Vikings and Lions. I had Lions 1, Vikings 2. I'm switching it to Vikings 1, Lions 2.
Funny,
I
I'll
almost did that.
talk
I
about
almost.
I'll talk about mine as that segues, and then I'm moving the Vikings out of last place to third. Not
Who you putting
first.
in last?
Packers.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
did.
And then
Right? Did I put Packers last?
No.
and then I'm
Yeah,
I'm
put
gonna
Bears.
and I'm gonna swipe. I'm gonna
You got the Bears
I'm gonna
with me.
swipe the Browns and Steelers.
So where do you have the Bears?
I'm gonna put Browns last, Steelers third,
Yeah, Bears third.
second, Bears second. Still,
And wait. So where do you have the Vikings? Oh, you just moved them out of last and put the Packers last. Gotcha.
what I said. Yep.
Gotcha.
And then I'm gonna take the Titans out of last.
Real quick, I just want to talk about this. It's just some shit I've been reading. I mean, I just don't understand how we can come into an NFL season. It's totally possible. But I mean, to have so much faith in the Lions, don't you need to step back a little bit and just be like, I mean, MCDC, he's a very likable guy. Do you think he's really that good of a coach? I mean,
I think he's a good NFL coach. Seems to relate well with players. Is what they.
he's very
said.
likable, yeah, but I mean...
No, I mean,
is
with the
that-
players, that means
Yeah.
a lot to NFL players.
Yeah.
They're professionals, so they don't need a guy grinding on their ass every day. They get tired of that. They're professionals.
It's still the Lions. I can't pick them to win anymore.
Well, I totally understand. All right, thank you all for joining us for this episode. We'll see you next week when we talk about a bunch of football now that we don't have to talk about golf and weird basketball.
Yeah,
and
hockey playoffs, that was ass. The fucking NBA,
You did well
that
on
was
those
ass.
picks, so.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see y'all. Everybody say
All right,
bye.
bye.